What's happening, folks? Welcome back to Celtic Fans TV. It is full-time reaction after Celtic 2, Motherwell 1 at Celtic Park. I've got Callum and Darren with me to go over that. Boys, a tough watch that, wasn't it? Made heavy work of it.
Sounds strange because we've got 3 points, but it was the furthest thing from my mind that I thought for the last 2 weeks of pain and international duty. That's the last thing that I thought I was going to see today. Ironically, when I walk in, we always say to people that sit next to me, what do you think the score's going to be? And we take predictions, and I said 2-1, but it's going to be. I don't know. I thought it was like, it sounds silly, but the weather, and it was almost like something just felt down a little, almost.
Aye, I got
it didn't feel like that, and it was weird. But the game panned out just the way I thought it was. I mean, we'll touch on it, but the goals, obviously, the goals that we all score, because Mull don't score. I mean, the Juranovic and Joe Hart is, I sit on the other side, so I don't see it clearly, but I think he's chested it back and it just went by him. Communication there. The defence is worrying without Carter Vickers. It's now more shown more than ever that without him, it's people say you can't get a one-man team. Are you sure? Because Celtic are starting to look almost as a one-man team without him. He just makes everything tick, almost like McGregor in a sense. Carter Vickers and all the Starfelt haters, by the way. You can get off his back because now you can appreciate what you've not got since he's not there. Yeah?
Big time. I was saying that at the start of the season when Jens came in and pressed Darren that Starfelt, if Starfelt is fit and Carter Vickers is fit, they're the pairing. I think you can see that now. I think Jens obviously needs somebody experienced and assured beside him. He's not got that in Welsh, and I think the two of them don't help each other because they look really nervy all afternoon. Even though Motherwell didn't threaten too much, we scored the goal for them, but we just looked nervy at times, particularly building it for the back.
Nervous is a perfect word, mate. I think they've not really played much together apart from that St Mirren game, which we won't talk about. And look, you can't play handball every week, and it was a stressful one for our fans. You could hear like how agitated everybody was getting, especially going in at half time after such a goal anywhere to concede when we were comfortable. It was only 1-0, but we were comfortable. And look, 3 points is all I'm really happy about today. I've took stick before for criticising us when we've won and not played well, so I'm not going to create a mountain out of a molehill, so to speak, today. I'm just happy we've won because Rangers went top briefly today, and 3 points is really all that matters for me then.
Aye, it's one of the games, Callum, innit? At the end of the season, you don't even remember it, and 3 points is the same 3 points as if you win 5-0, but when you're looking at performance, and that's what we do, that's what Ange talks about all the time, the process and the performance, it wasn't quite there over the piece. I thought we didn't start brilliantly, just kind of went through the motions. It wasn't brilliant, it wasn't terrible. We got the lead, and I thought that was the best move so far in the game. Kyogo won it back on the halfway line, we won 2 with Hatate. It broke down on the edge, but then McGregor gets it back, makes a great run. Jota picks out the cross. I think it's an O'Reilly header. Kyogo's there to knock in the rebound, and you think, right, now surely we can start playing now, and we'll maybe start upping the pace a wee bit, but it just never really happened at any point in the day, did it?
So maybe I'm going to contradict myself here by saying that we actually played all right in spells, like you're saying, but although it's still not the performance that I was expecting, in some smaller spells that we did play all right. I mean, Juranovic hit the crossbar with a great free kick. We then hit the post. After the post, it falls to Kyogo. It's a really hard chance, to be fair to him, and he puts it just wide in the first half. Yeah. Aye. The second half, we have multiple chances again with Kyogo as well. I thought when Abada comes on, he changes the whole way we play. So our best front three is Jota, Chakimakis and Abada, right? And he is, and I'll get on to that, right? Because as I said, so we had lots of spells, but the longer you go and not take your chances, I don't care if it's Real Madrid or it's Motherwell, you will get punished. You will get punished because you'll give a chance away here and there. The crowd get on your back. That's when Welsh starts to go into a shell because he's not got that experience, and he starts struggling, and bang, a goal comes for absolutely nothing. Also, you're going into half-time 1-each, thinking, where did that come from? Second half, you think, we need to get a goal early here. In the first 15 minutes, we didn't test Liam Kelly either, and it was kind of a little bit flat, as you say, but then we grew into it, we got a couple of shots, then we get the goal. The important goal, and then all of a sudden, it's like the last 15-20 minutes is just like chaotic. It's just people are panicking. They need to calm down. If you take another chance, the game's away from Motherwell. The last 5 minutes was horrible because obviously the pressure on Motherwell just throw everything at it. Celtic couldn't keep the ball at times. And so these are the fine margins at any level. They're fine margins, whether it's the SPL or it's Champions League. If you don't take your chances, what we've seen against Shakhtar, we've seen against Motherwell. I mean, you didn't have many chances against St Mirren, to be fair, but if you don't take your chances, we're not going to win games, and that's what makes it hard for us when we don't take our chances like that. So we just need to be a little bit more clinical. To my point of Kyogo and Chakimakis, Kyogo's somebody that we all love, right? I love him as well. My preference is I prefer Jackie Marcus. But Kyogo needs to start finishing more chances. He needs to be more clinical because that is his job at the end of the day. And I know he has a fanfare and he's the favourite boy, but he needs to become more clinical. I don't feel as if he's clinical enough. I don't. The goal he scores today is a tap, and it's going in, it's rolling in, and he steals it off O'Reilly, right? Which I want him to do because he's a striker. But he needs to be more clinical. He needs to start getting. It sounds stupid, I know it does. More goals because he does get goals, but he could get 35 if he actually put in some of the chances.
He'd also
he got,
be playing for Man City, who took all the chances he got as well.
Well, that's how he's going to go to the next level. If he can start taking them and getting and noticing, he'll go there.
Aye. Collectively, Darren, I don't think we were ever in top gear. I don't think individually there was anybody that was brilliant all afternoon. And we'll come to the sending off in a minute, which comes from a bad pass from Hatate, but he does end up the match winner, and it was a beautiful strike. He hit the post with a beautiful strike as well. He had a lovely ball down the channel in the first half for Jota. I thought in spells he looked good, but again, no one today was really excellent from start to finish.
Well, I need to really stuck out, as you say, but I thought Hatate probably was the best of an average bunch. I would say, like, before that horrific pass, which I just say we will come to, I would have probably said he was the best player in the park. Like, he looked a bit more energetic or up for it, as we would say, more than the rest of the team. Like, he would drop shot for the ball, or he would make those busting runs, and he was passing, he was pinging that about. Maybe some of his passes were a bit overzealous, maybe he was trying too hard, but like, as I say, like, we have these kind of days. Like, it was kind of similar to the St Mirren game, and that's up to the manager, I think, to get these players back into that winning mentality, the way that we have been playing against Kilmarnock, Hearts, Dundee United. Like, when we play the way we have against those teams and we go and win 9-0, that's us at our, I don't want to say the worst, but that's probably the worst we've played all season, and we're still winning. Yeah. So it does speak levels of how good the team are. Yeah. So I'm not overly worried. I just want to get back to the way we have been playing. We've got Leipzig on Wednesday there, which again will be a very, very hard game. And I think, Callum, you mentioned there about Nov and CCV. I think that's going to impact the game massively. If we can get a result for that, I'll be happy. Even a draw, I think, to take a draw there and then come back at Celtic Park, I think we're in a great chance to progress for the group. That's a conversation for another day. But going forward to today, I think we have St Johnstone next league game. Again, a struggling team. I think if we can bounce back for that and get a result, then all this results about like 2-1 wins against Motherwell and a 2-0 defeat at St Mirren, it'll all just breeze by and we'll forget about it.
Callum, I think the defence is a worry, right? It's a worry for Wednesday. I did mention in the starting 11 prediction as well, I thought Jota's come off the boil just a wee bit. No huge criticism of him, he's been absolutely brilliant since the season started, but I think you can tell again today he's just not quite at that scintillating level he was 3 or 4 weeks ago.
I was a little bit shocked because in the last 10 minutes, Callum McGregor makes a busting run with the ball. He's dead calm in the middle of the park, right? He holds it, he's got somebody at the front of him and behind him, and he ends up popping it out and gets by. He then runs and he looks up and Jota's behind him. Jota's had 2 weeks off, right? McGregor's played every game for Scotland. He's ran his heart out, and he's still giving it and giving it and giving it. So I was a little bit shocked at the players that didn't go away international duty. I expected them to be a little bit more on it, saying, bang, this is my position, this is why I'm playing. Maybe somebody like Daizen Maeda, I thought he was a bit flat as well. I'm not convinced that he's a starter for Celtic, and I says to the boys behind me, Abada, I can't believe he's not on that park. At half time he should have been on, and he wasn't. As soon as he came on, Celtic were so much more direct. They got the ball and bang, feet, and he just went at him. Maeda take a touch and he'll go back the way. And sometimes in the first half he didn't really read the game. Juranovic played a good few balls down the side against the left back, and the left back never read it, stood still, but Maeda stood still as well, and he never read it. So I was just a little bit shocked that that's happened. I understand to the point Celtic have been scintillating for that first block, and now we've came to international duty and we're into the second block. That's maybe taken out of us a little bit. That's understandable when that happens, right? I get that. But hopefully, the main point is we've got the 3 points. That's the key part, right? We want to see a better performance, which is fine. Hopefully this game, and maybe St Johnstone might be a tough game, they're going to sit back, it's going to be hard to beat as well, a hard pitch, stuff like that, but as long as you get the win, and then eventually we'll end up getting back into gear, and we'll end up going, Jota can't have amazing games every time, or as you says, you want to be here, you beat Real Madrid or somewhere like that. So I understand that as well. You've got to kind of take it. As long as we won, that was the most important part. You want a performance, but what can you do?
And Darren, over the course of last season, we had plenty of games like that. You can't play at top level every single week. But it's important that we grind out the victories. And we end up with 10 men. We end up with 10 men because Hatate plays that blind pass. Your man's 1-on-1. McGregor has to pull him down.
Absolutely.
And then we see it out eventually. 5 minutes added, nervy, but 3 points. back to the top of the table is the main thing, innit?
Absolutely. I think the fact of having 5 subs really saved us, because when McGregor came on, I think we'd already made 3 subs, and then we were able to bring on, I think Abelgard came on, make his debut, and then Aaron Moy came on, just I think to kind of see us out. The main thing is for me is consistency not just in performance, but because you will, like you say, you will not have a 5-6-0 every week, but consistency in terms of results. The St Mirren was a 1-1, right? But this is a perfect way to bounce back. Not having a great performance, but a victory.
Absolutely, there you go. We are back to the top of the table. Finished 2-1 to Celtic here today. Like this video, comment with your own thoughts below. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. We're going to the pub for the post-match pint. Join us for that. Thank you.